With just 5 moves, you've made a really big difference, and that took 5 minutes?
Maybe less than that.
Hey, I'm Dan Gillespie from Newfangled Audio.
I'm Miguel from Knurl Mastering.
We came here to talk about Midrange. We always want to take a new approach to something that no one else is doing. What we try to do is we try to make new products, things that are unlike other things that are on the market. And we want to make products to make your music sound good. We want to make it sound different, and we want to make it sound like you. That is how we came up with Fixate Midrange, the plugin for fixing your midrange.
We have one tool that does one job, which is midrange, very well and very fast. Most of the musical content that matters to us is in the mid-range. The harmony and the melody is just mid-range. It's also the area people fail the most. It usually comes down to just having too much of everything in the same time. If you're boosting 3K or 2K, your immediate reaction is, it sounds better, you know? And then if you start doing that everywhere, then everything sounds terrible.
Our brains have evolved very specific firmware that are very sensitive to these things.
Mid-range on top of mid-range, it's a cumulative effect.
It builds up.
It builds up. There's stuff that we can improve. And because of that, I think you really spend a lot of time on making that right.
I listen to a lot of music on my phone.
First of all, I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
People should listen to music, whatever. In AirPods, if the mid-range is not right, you'll noticeably instantly feel it.
And I'll put in the AirPods and it zooms in, it focuses in on the mid-range in a way that not everything does.
Yeah, I think it's very real. If there's too much information on specific key frequency areas, the mix will not translate well. The mid-range is where it's at. I think it's the mid-range is where you really need to have it right, so it translates across a lot of speakers.
We've spoken before about some specific qualities of sound, like muddiness, harshness, honk was a word we've thrown around.
The denasal one.
Oh, nasal sound like that.
That happens a lot. So yeah, those I think at least one of those a record will probably have.
So we had 6 problems. We had D-mud, D-thin, D-honk, D-nasal, D-harsh, and now we have balance.
People over-exaggerate, for instance, the 200 hertz or a little of that. Very common, you know.
Yeah.
That's a very tricky area because if you have too much of that, it sounds very muddy, but if you have too little, then it sounds very thin.
Yes.
So it's a very tricky part to get done.
What is muddy? What is the right amount? We decided to bring in something called hints. The algorithm itself sort of detects when it's wrong. We use the color orange for that. And we are showing just what the algorithm thinks might be a problem.
Yeah. And what was scary, if you mind me say so,
please.
From the start, it was very, very accurate.
That bothered you?
That bothered me, how we can so accurately detect.
Let's wrap up all these parameters that decide what good sounds like, and we're gonna create a profile so you can quickly load any number of different mastering profiles. And the idea is that you analyze your own sound, and that will compare it to the profile, and the fix button will make the song you're listening to sound like what the profile says is good. And the idea is that gets you into the right place to start making some good changes.
I know the source because I'm mirroring it, and I have a destination in my head, and sometimes the profiles will just get me there faster than sweeping or searching for problem. I'm wasting less time on it, which allows me to focus on more musical stuff, which is more important than fixing problems.
How has Fixate Midrange changed the way you work?
Fixate just helps to get the technical side better.
Get it out of the way and focus on the music.
So we now have a song by Ella called Oceans.
Okay.
And I think it's probably the first time we're listening to this.
All right, let's check it out.
Let's go for it.
Let me get caught up in your way. Let me drift away from the shore.
For sure, it's needs a little bit of mid-range boost.
Yeah.
Contrary to the other examples.
Sure, it's very laid back.
Yeah, it's a little bit muffled. Yes, for this one, I feel like I should load a profile.
Yeah.
I think I have one profile that will match this.
Okay. Scandy Pop.
Scandy Pop, which again is not really Scandy Pop, but the sonic presentation again,
Yeah.
I think will benefit this track.
Okay.
Just going from source to ideal and see if this helps us or not.
It's a big help.
Yeah. Maybe we don't need to go all the way.
Ideal is mathematically we builds a statistical model of the song, and then the profile is a statistical model of whatever you want, and then ideal sort of like gives you the sound that sounds the most like the profile while also sounding the most like the song.
So at the moment, I think we're maybe taking too much
In the lows.
in the lows, so I will just compensate a little bit. And even though this is a mid-range plugin, we do have some like low energy shelves,
Of course.
which are very useful because sometimes when you sculpt the mid-range a lot,
Yeah.
you might need to offset or compensate.
One of the nice things about that EQ is that it doesn't add or subtract gain. You're not being like, oh, this is louder, so it's better.
Yeah, so you're not
Because
being fooled by
You can't trick yourself, or
Yeah.
that's the goal.
just completely open up everything.
Totally different
Definition now. Starting with the plugin off.
Okay.
Let me get caught up in your way. Let me drift away from the shore. Walking down a new kind of road. I don't wanna go home.
Yeah, a lot of clarity has been
The profile made a huge
a
difference.
huge difference on that one.
That balance.
Sure. Sometimes the mix arrives and it's 95% there.
Yes.
And then just fix one or two minor tweaks and it's done. But sometimes you hear something and you feel maybe it should have a different sonic presentation.
Mm-hmm.
The sonic presentation is how you will experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can have the same music with a dark sonic presentation
Mm-hmm.
or with a bright sonic presentation, and you will experience the record completely different just because of that balance.
Yes.
So most of the balance decisions I make are based on the music I know. So you need to have some sort of control on what you're hearing
Mm-hmm.
and make sure there are no areas that are too much or too little. I'm very happy that I now have this tool. They will make huge improvements on their workflow for sure.
Yeah.
Get stuff way more polished.
Miguel, Knurl Mastering, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the great plugins that make my life very easy.
Of course, I hope for lots of other people too. And thank you guys for watching. This has been a really fun video to make. We hope you had fun watching it. Newfangled Audio. Hope you learned something.